Hello everybody, this is Rebirth of Legend here with another analysis. We're going to be checking out another Antimage game. Might as well just change this to an exclusively Antimage channel at this point, but whatever. Alright, let's go up to the message here. It's actually not a message. I managed to bring the game to almost an hour's Antimage. How did we lose? We did pushing after team fights, so I lost team fights and the game suddenly goes out of control. I don't think I also AFK farm. So I got some kills, I'll show it on screen. There we are. I don't think I AFK farms, got some kills and assists, just playing it safer. Team communication also pretty good in my team. What did I do wrong? Alright, let's look at the game real quick. Spoilers. This is your problem. 17, 13, 15, 18. Now what I mean by that isn't that it's your team's fault you lost. Games are still winnable in that position. But it's definitely harder, and you have to acknowledge your place in the game, and then adapt what you're doing in order to win a game in that situation. I'll try and explain that a little bit as I guess we could talk about it right now. Nothing's happening. Also, this is a very early Antimage pick. You usually want to wait, because otherwise you give them way too many options to counterpick you. Right now, this is actually a crazy amount of lockdown they have. This ult is kind of iffy. I mean, that can't really kill you. It just makes you kill your team. And the odds are your team will be too weak to actually kill you. But they have Legion Duel, which can be annoying if he buys a Shadow Blade. Marana Arrow can help on ganks. A Spirit Breaker and a Slark are very problematic because in the mid game, when this dude has a Shadow Blade, he can follow you, set up the charge from him, and that's like 5 seconds of lockdown, not even counting if he lucks out with another bash. It's stupid. It's a stupid amount of lockdown. So, if you're really comfortable on Anti-Mage, like, any game is winnable as long as you're good enough. But there's no reason to put yourself at a disadvantage. You would need to double tap that range creep on your mana break levels. I think it would be close. What's it? 40%. 40%. It's another 20 damage. 73. You need 80 damage to kill a range creep. So yeah, in a situation like this, like not skilling this will cost you 2 creeps because it's stupid easy to last hit from level 1 as I am with a Quelling Blade. Like, it's really, really easy. The melee creeps, after getting hit by a tower 5 times, you right-click them once, they die. Did I say range creep or melee creep? Melee creeps are 5 hits and then an auto attack. Range creeps are 2 hits, then an auto attack with mana break. If you don't have mana break, you have to double hit the creep. I'm not even gonna go into the fancy thing I was gonna say. It's stupid. If you watch like RTZ stream, you've probably seen what I was gonna say anyway. But like dropping a Quelling Blade to do less damage when setting up a creep. But that's stupid, and it's not necessary. And like 99% of the time. You also have to get better at last hitting. You shouldn't have 5 creeps 2 minutes in. It's like 3 creep waves right there. And it was like a completely uncontested lane right now. Because the Spirit Breaker, I think, must have charged bottom and like lost all of his mana. Or was he's level 3. He has to have been doing something. But yeah, like, you're an anti-mage. You can't be bottom creeping right now. So, just improving those mechanics will ensure you get off to a better start. Because, like, there's games I look at where my team does, like, this poorly. Like, your team does really shit this game. But, like, you'd be like, oh, my team sucks. Or you can look at every stupid mistake you've made, like missing that creep right there just because you didn't even go for it or position for it. You missed another one. But, like, I've had games where I'm like, if I just didn't fuck up my laning phase, I would have won. Because, like, doing good right now is the difference between, like, it's the difference between a lot of stuff. It's just between you having like a 12-minute Battle Fury and you having like a 16-minute Battle Fury. And in a free lane like this, you should not be getting a 16-minute Battle Fury. It should be like 13. Can I look at timings? Hang on, let's see. I still have the other overlay up. Whatever, doesn't matter. Let me see if I can pull up timings. Let's go back to this. I've been spamming AM lately. I'm soulless. Let's tell us item timings. Farm? It's under farm. I don't use Yasp an awful lot. It's got to be under here somewhere. Action analysis, combat purchases. There we go. So you got treads by 7 minutes, Battle Fury by 13 here. What the fuck? How old is this game? 3 days ago? Alright, I guess we're never getting that one. And a lot of these weren't particularly easy lanes, if I remember right. Like this one was against a, I think it was a tri-lane with like a Bane ET and a Void or something. It was weird, if I remember. But you see, like even contested, it's 14 minutes. Here, 14 minutes. That one was invisible. And here, where the fuck am I? 13 minutes. And this was even like jungling before my Battle Fury, so my Lion could get like level 6, which hurts your timings a lot. Well, this game was stupid easy. But the point is, like, you can see consistently like 13 to 14. It's weird looking at that. I don't usually ask an awful lot. But I don't have Dotabuff Plus anymore. Come on. Come. Oh, nope. Oh, this doesn't even show the fucking lanes anymore. Dotabuff Plus, man. This was a 1v1 against an Earthshaker. Anyway, the point is, like, you need to learn to optimize. I'm sorry, I get distracted easily. But the point is, you want to optimize your laning efficiency. So where you can, like, consistently get those timings regardless of the difficulty of, like, a lane. Not regardless, but, like, to where, like, difficulty doesn't hurt you. And if, like, you can't do well in, like, a 1v0 situation where there's not even a laning opponent, you're not going to do well when there's laning opponents there. Like, a lot of those games that start, like, 8 Tango, Salve, Stout Shield or something. Which is, like, like a crazy amount of regen, and it also means my Quelling Blade's a lot later. So you have to be comfortable with your mechanics, or you're going to miss a lot of creeps. But yeah, like right now, what's he jungling? You need to be getting super far ahead, and you're not getting there quickly enough. Let's see if you get the treads first. You should always get treads before Battle Fury, because it opens up jungling, and opens up your kill potential. With like treads and Ring of Health, you can jungle really, really efficiently. I'd also recommend a Poor Man's Shield. Even if you're not trading, it helps with your jungling. And if you do get ganked, it can be just between living and dying. It's a very good item. Because it increases the block damage from 16 to 20. Even though everything else remains the same against creeps. It's just 100% block chance against heroes. So here you should be farming. What'd you just buy? Okay. Cool, so we got the treads. You go right into Agi, which is good. What you want to be doing right now is pushing this creep wave in. Now, you're standing here for no reason. You know that creep wave is going to push back, and you have to be farming woods right now. You could have gotten over to the easy camp, I think. It's going to be awkward because the LC is there, just hanging out. But you should be autoing in between those creeps. So, like, let's go back and look at that a little slower. It's kind of be hard to see at X4. Under tower, it's a little stranger. But, like, you know this is happening. Kill the range creep. So you can auto down the range creep and auto down another creep that nothing's really targeting, while the tower or your creeps are taking them out. The point is to, like, not waste any of your time. Like, you're just standing here. You probably could have double tapped that. It might be a little risky. Like, sometimes I'll lose a creep because I'm trying to, like, aggressively farm. But that's whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, since you have the Ring of Health, you're pretty immune to harassment here. Like, he nukes you, whatever. He auto-attacks you, whatever. Who cares? He even has a Poor Man's Shield. That's pretty interesting. See, like, right now, this LC just left, right? You're not using the lane efficiently. You're wasting a ton of time right now. Like, in the free lane that you had, you should be probably close to 100 creeps right now. And I know that's, like, a high expectation, and it'll take you time to get used to it, but, like, if you learn how to, like, farm efficiently, There's no reason you couldn't have at least 85 creeps right now. 85 would be low. Because you can have, I think it's like 86 or something, or 88. It's just perfect creeping in lane. But if you include the jungling, it's not hard to get 10 creeps a minute outside of the laning phase. Or past 10 minutes. Particularly if you get like a stupid free lane, you get to go treads first. All that's really useful. Did you miss a creep there? I don't think you did. No, I guess not. Yeah. I thought you missed one of the little bros. But you can look at this and you can see like the situation is kind of dire, right? Nice. So you can see that the situation's kind of dire right now, where you guys are down a lot of kills. So you need to be like pushing harder and ensuring you're getting your item timings a lot quicker so you can help your team. And like you should always have a TP, particularly once you're level 11, because this Mana Void starts doing a fuck ton of damage. Because like if you TP in and you like ult the Wyvern, he's got a 900 mana pool. He does have mana problems, kind of. Like he doesn't really build a regen item too frequently. I don't know why they're stacking Ancients. It's really dumb for a team to stack Ancients when they don't have... it's really dumb for a team to stack Ancients when they don't have someone who can kill Ancients well. I guess they decide the LC can. I guess he's doing okay. Because then it opens it up to, if you got your Battle Fury like 2 minutes ago, which I think is totally reasonable, you could have stolen that Ancient stack. Like, here's where you need to be just really optimizing your farm. Nice. You got the kill, and that's great. Alright, you don't have a Battle Fury yet, shit. I thought that was the last part of it. Oh no, you are getting delivered, okay. So this is like a 16-minute Battle Fury. 15:30, whatever. Which isn't bad, but it's slow within the context of this game. Like, your team is eating a ton of fucking damage for you, right? So, like, your team's eating, like, a huge amount of damage for you, which means that you should be getting, like, a stupid amount of space. And, like, this is more wasted time. Like, you just finished your Battle Fury. Like, let's count how long you stayed there just to deny this tower. Alright, 15:55. You could have farmed the hard camp. Could be at the Ancients right now. 20 seconds of no farm. Gotta deny. Now you're still here. Wait, did you even get it? Yeah, you got it. But, like, you denied them, I think, like, maybe... It might be a significant amount. It might be, like, 600 gold or something for their whole team. It's a fair amount. Like, I don't want to take that from you. But, like, it cost you... It probably cost you 600 gold. And, like, in a game like this, it's about getting as far ahead as you possibly can. It's actually a huge win for your team. If they just stuck together there, then that LC wouldn't have been able to get that stupid fucking duel off. What happens here anyway? Good fight. This Drow's a fucking idiot. Well, like, in the Drow's defense, I actually don't know what her... She's like half right now. But, like, if 4 of you were there, he would have lost that duel. And, like, this tier 1 tower is up and you just want to fight. You like, even as an anti-mage, I'd say you should still be pushing that and helping your team. Also, if you're worried about duels, you should be getting stats over your mana break still. You got stats earlier on, but you need to, like, it's totally fine to just keep leveling stats over. I also don't like this. The way Blade Mail is changed, it returns the type of damage you do, which is great for anti-mage, because it used to hurt like a motherfucker when it was pure damage, but now that you're going to be returning largely physical or magical damage, someone like the LC is going to duel you and do a lot of physical damage, and getting a Vlad's would help you reduce that. Your team actually is, like, staying in it pretty well right now. Like, I don't think they're farming. They're even farming. Like, they aren't behind right now, and, like, this is a point in the game where, like, I would just be like, oh, fuck, my team is, like, super behind, and where it becomes really bad as an anti-mage. But like your team's not in a bad state right now, and if your team gets to like this point, fine. When you're playing anti-mage, you should be able to carry them into the mid game. So like wasting all that time middle and like not farming efficiently, that's costing you a lot right now. See, like, and this is also a situation where you carry a teleport, a TP scroll, and then you come to this fight, like, and you make them dive for you. Like, you say that your team is communicating, so you should be able to tell them like, hey, don't do this. Okay, this is stupid. You're wasting so much time here again. Oh, we gotta stop for a second because we gotta talk about things. So you said your team is communicating, and if they're communicating, what you say is, hey, let me split push. You guys sit behind. Fucking Christ, I hate this thing sometimes. Okay, we gotta slow it down. So you say, team, sit behind the tier 2 and just don't get jumped. And then if they do jump, that gives you the opportunity to TP back. In that time frame, you can be pushing a creep wave, farming out the woods while pushing a creep wave. You could push this in, get this farm, come back here and kill the tier 2. And you could do that without you can do that with like minimal risk to yourself, right? Who the fuck's messaging me? No one talks to me on Skype anymore. So you can do that, and it's like really good for you. If they're 5-manning, they're grouping up, and you're split pushing, that means your team's splitting the experience here. So 4 is splitting the experience here, and 5 of them are splitting it here, while you're getting all solo XP. That's how you see AMs get like way over leveled. Like it doesn't take me long to surpass the level of a mid because of how fast Antimage personally kills creeps. You see someone like a Naga will struggle because she kills creeps with her illusion, so she doesn't get experience. AM is there killing creeps with his fucking hero. So yeah, I think of Vlad's would also been really, really good this game. It gives your whole team like survivability. It helps them all in a fight. It helps your damage output a lot. Like she's stupid stat heavy because she's a drow. So like your 15% aura is giving her another 14 math, 21 damage. He's getting. Can I not even click that? Why can't I click that? Oh, because I don't know how to click. He's getting good damage. You're getting good damage. Everyone's getting good damage. But alright, back to your perspective. Oh, fuck, there was 2 things I want to talk about there. Oh, so back on efficiency. Like, when your whole team died and you were here, you stood here behind the tier 2. Like, there's anything you can do about this. Like, you're going to jump in there 1v5 and make the world's biggest difference. Like, nothing you do is going to change that tower from dying. So you need to start farming. Even if it doesn't mean you're taking another tower and you're still pushing, you need to start farming. Plus, your TP was on cooldown, which means there's no penalty for you farming. There's none whatsoever. You could have been down here and pressuring this tier 2. Like, if instead of coming to that fight and, like, lingering around here for what amounts to, like, 45 seconds, if you were pushing this lane or that lane, you would have gotten a tier 2 in return. Definitely. Look how low these tier 2s are. I mean, that's not that low, but it doesn't take long for an anti-mage to kill that. You could have easily exchanged a tier 2, which makes the gold swing not as bad. Don't get me wrong, it's still like bad for you, but it's not like the worst thing in the world. Nice. Alright, back to your player perspective. So like the biggest thing on Antimage is just not wasting time at all. And you're like criminally wasting time right now. And your item build's a little shitty. The thing that's awkward about going Manta here, actually I guess it's not really true anymore because of how Abyssal Blade's made. I was gonna say you have to get a heart afterwards. Otherwise, you'll find yourself low on regen all the time. But that's not necessarily true anymore. Because Vanguard gives you some degree of regen. So you can go Manta now into Heart or whatever. And that's okay. But I still don't think it's worth skipping a Vlad's. Vlad's lets you like solo Roche, it lets you kill Ancients, it lets you man fight people. Like if you encounter a Slark in a lane and you auto this dude down, he does not have mana regen. Like he's a Slark, he does not have good mana regen. So you trade HP with him, yeah, when you leave he's gonna regen with his ult, but without mana, he can't solo kill people. Because like think about this combo. That's 75 mana, another 75 mana, and a Dark Pact is, we'll just say 40 mana. So that's 190 mana for his combo, not counting his ult, which brings it up to 310 mana. That's over half his mana pool to use all of his abilities in order to get a kill, right? So if you take away all of his mana and his regen's 3 a second, it'll take him 100 seconds, so over a minute and a half to regen what you take from him if you, a minute and a half for him to regen his whole combo in mana. See, like, imagine if you were here with a Vlad's and you traded with that guy. He wouldn't have been able to go for that kill. Admittedly, he didn't get the kill because he's an idiot. All he needed to do is use his pack properly and he would have had that. See, this is actually funny. I don't know why Slugs build Orchid. They're dumb. You're leveling your spell shield right now, and there's not a good reason to. They don't have magic damage. This is almost like the only magic damage they have is if she's on top of you with Starstorm. If she gets that situation, you're fucking dead anyway, because it means you've probably got dueled or Spirit Breaker charged with a Mirana nearby, who can then follow it up with an arrow. And like the only time that her Starstorm damage is ever gonna matter is if you get caught by all of them. See, like, because you don't have a Vlad's, that's why you lost all this HP. Here, like, I would even say it's fine to get the Vanguard right now. Like, before the Basher, because survivability is a really big thing. And your farm's still, like, a little slow. So, like, right now, you could have farmed that easy camp and then blinked down here. That's inefficient. You could farm up here, farm that camp. Why'd you even blink up there if you weren't going to farm it? Like, that's so silly. Okay, so we take this down. You need to blink to a camp and farm it. Like, once again, you're standing around way too much. Like, every blink needs to be towards an objective. Like, literally everything you do should have a purpose. Like, I can go, if I want to load up one of my games right now, I could explain to you, like, every blink and why I did it. And in a given game, I'll probably blink, what, like a few hundred times? And only a few of them would be, like, what I would maybe not be able to explain. So there's like 3 blinks there alone that didn't make sense, and that didn't lead to you doing anything. You just gotta ult that guy. I would assume his mana's low. Yeah, if you ulted him, he's dead. Because he had like no HP, and he had no health. This is stupid. You never want to build mana against an Antimage, because you're just increasing the damage you take. I know, like, Orchid's kind of good against AM, but he didn't beat your Manta timing, so the item's pointless. Antimage is going to really use his Manta to, Spiritburger just abandoned, right? Yeah, well, Antimage isn't generally going to be using his, Manta to, like, split farm too frequently. So, it doesn't really matter, like, getting an Orchid after that. It might be somewhat annoying in a fight in a really strange situation, but it doesn't enable a solo kill. And, like, it's still scary for him to solo kill you, because he'll lose all of his mana and not have an escape by trying to fight you while you're Orchided. Yeah, so this is wrong. You should have way more stats. And you want to align your mana break timing, like maxing this out, when your Manta's complete. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, it's just like those little things that'll be slightly more efficient. You're also not tread switching in between your blinks, which is bad. This is good. Right now you should be blinking to their Ancients and their hard camp, or here. You could blink... so annoying. You could be blinking to their Ancients, which are farmed, but I don't know if you knew that or not. If you have their hard camp, you have these 2 camps down here that you could be blinking to and farming. But you're not. Like, that's the little stuff that, like, really makes a difference. Like, I can't stress that enough. And if you have Vlad's right now, you don't have to go back to base. That's another thing. This is static regen, but a Vlad's has to do with, like, how much damage you put out. So when you're jungling or whatever, you're going to put out a ton of damage for that purpose, right? And you're going to regen yourself a lot just by farming. Well, now you felt the need to go back to base because all you have is this plus 15 regen. That's actually kind of more than I thought it was. I thought it was like 8. I thought it was like the Vanguard regen. That's plus 15 regen just from the Vanguard. And even with that, like, you can still split push. It's just that this dude's a threat. But he's got a blink. So the thing is, like, if you're really fast, a lot of the times he's not going to blink directly on top of you. So he has to walk like 1 or 2 steps. And even if he doesn't, if you're fast enough, the timing on this is like, it's like a 0.4 second, I think, for duel to be cast. and Manta's instant target. So when you see him blink, if you immediately Manta, you can kill either one, kill him before he can even start a duel, or two, blink away, and then you don't get dueled. So like if you're feeling so bold, you can just go farm because you have the Vanguard regen. That's like one of those things you have to keep in mind and like take advantage of. Because like going back to base costs you so much time. Like, I don't even think you're at 10 creeps a minute right now. This is really bad. You should be crossing 10 creeps a minute, like a minute after you get your Battle Fury, ideally. See, like, look how slow that was. You had plenty of time to mana that. Oh boy. Where'd you go? The whole team died here. You're wasting a lot of time. Like, another thing, like let's look at this point right now. When I see my team super far behind and I don't think like we can really fight too well, your choice should be to split push harder. And the best item for split pushing harder is travels. So like with travels, like let's say your whole team gathers down here. Fucking Christ. So like let's say with travels, if like your whole team gathers down here, your whole team's in this area, right? Your team gets wiped. But you're anti-mage with travels. You're already here. You're split pushing. Like, let's say your team has the Aegis and you're a 6-slot anti-mage, right? So you're here, you're a 6-slot anti-mage, your team's split pushing, you have travels, right? If that fight seems like it's going well, you can travel to it, right? Or you just take their fucking racks. And if any, like, one or two people respond, you just kill them. And, like, they don't even have a Spear Breaker, who's their primary form of lockdown for you. Like, they don't even have this dude. Like, look, you being near them is like a liability. You just got the Wyvern to kill just because you're so much stronger than your team. So there's no reason not to just split it right now. Like, you're moving way too much with them. Which is kind of like a weird thing to say. Also, you could finish your butterfly right now. The situation, like, you have to feel like when you're behind. You have to feel when you're behind and know like when to buy stuff. Here, oh, you can't see what kind of damage you took. But, like here, if you had your B-fly, you probably don't die there. I think you bought it out. That's also bad too. Like, it's fine because they're up and they're not pushing, but generally, if you're in like a late game scenario, you don't want to be buying back, or sorry, you don't want to be wasting your buyback money on an item that you can't use right now. Like, imagine if they pushed high ground, you're like, oh, I don't have buyback. I have this butterfly that I didn't use for the last fight and is now just sitting on my courier. Also, why can't I click your courier? I'm assuming your items for your B-fly are on the courier, which they are. Just return them to stash, and they'll automatically merge. They like changed it now, so it's weird. But like, you should always try and like, if you're not sure what item to get, just like buy travels. Like a lot of times after my Yasha, I'll get boots of travel to just increase my farm more. Like, it increases your farm more, and like it might push back your manta timing by like 2 minutes. But it's gonna increase your 6-slot timing by like 8 minutes. So your manta timing might get pushed back to like 24 minutes instead of like 21 minutes. Or 21, 22 minutes might get pushed back to like 24, 25 minutes, whatever. But your 6-slot timing is gonna come at like 33 minutes instead. Because the manta lets you like TP right to places. Like right now, if you blink on that LC, you can kill this LC. Like, it's not beyond the possibility for you to kill this guy. But you have to be in that position to do that. Like, there's no one on their team you can't blink and like kill. Except maybe the Slark, just because he'll like ult and walk away. And he has a Shadow Blade. But like this dude, he can't even blink and kill you in a duel right now. Actually, he's got the Blade Mail, so he probably could. But like, if you're quick on the Manta, he dies. Your team needs to also, if your team is like actually communicating well, you have to direct them to use the fucking buddy system. If they're like as 4 all the time, then that Slark can't get solo kills without dying. Like, he'd die for every kill he gets. Because he's not super far ahead right now. He's farming like crap too. But like right now you should have been 6-slotted already, but you're kind of 5-slotted-ish. And you're getting a Lincoln Sphere. Like, I don't like that either, really. I guess, like, with the change, I would just honestly buy a rapier. Fuck it, right? The reason I would do that, to explain the rationale, I don't think any good decision is followed up by fuck it, right? But to explain the rationale, you could see your team is down by 27 kills, and you can extrapolate from that just by looking at their items. You're like, this dude's got an S and Y for unknown reasons. He's got a blade mail, pretty also dumb. Um, she just has a blink. This dude's got 2 half items, 3 half items, and a mom. He's stupid poor. Like any decent carry should be 6 slotted between like the 40 and 50 mark, depending on like what kind of carry they are. And like obviously games vary a little bit. Like if you have to do 2 buybacks, then clearly you're not going to be 6 slotted in the same time frame to where if you didn't have to buy back and you didn't die. He just has a Dagon 3, which is stupid. Any support Nyx, which he's a support because he was in safe lane with you, should be getting like a blink force glimmer cape type of thing. And then they focus on like utility. He's not focusing on utility. He's just like, oh, I'm gonna build a Dagon, and he just feeds. Um, but like the point of this isn't to shit talk a team. It's because you need to be able to acknowledge when like you're gonna be the thing that decides if you win or lose this game, right? So like I'm fine with like building a Lincoln Sphere too, I guess, but it's so defensive where it's like oh I just don't want to die, as opposed to like I need to put out the damage to win the game for my team. Like buying a rapier means like if you show up in a fight, like your team gets in a fight and you TP there, you can turn a fight with a rapier. Like if this last item's a rapier and you go from doing 300 damage to 600 damage, that's huge. This guy's gonna melt. It's got little. He starts with a lot of armor, but doesn't gain a lot of armor. She's gonna melt. He's gonna die. You just gotta be careful not to blade mail yourself. He's gonna get destroyed too. He's a low armor target. This thing's clearly gonna melt. Like you have to be able to recognize when situations are dire and like make executive decisions like that. Another alternative, like remember I said like, oh, if you like get into the fight or whatever, if they're fighting, if the whole enemy team's like fighting, the fighting here, and you're here, dude, just keep pushing. Just keep pushing and rax them. Because they need to respond to you with like 2 or 3 people in order to stop you from, destroying them. And if they can't do that or you enable your team to stop them from doing that, then you're winning the game. And even if your whole team dies, if they get wiped 4-0, but you take a Rax, that's such an even trade. Because even if they want to push up, an anti-mage with travels can easily creep cut a wave and keep everything pushed to where an enemy team can't push properly. It's not hard for you to creep cut them when you have boots of travel and a manta or whatever. You're so fast. So it's not hard for you to constantly creep cut. And then you just have to wait for that original creep wave that they have to die. Or like start threatening a next set of racks on them and then force TPs back to stop you. And then once they TP back to stop you, you go home and then you end the rest of their team. But like the big part of that is like being able to acknowledge when you're in that poor situation. Because like you get to a point where like she's pretty farmed. She's gonna put out actually a fair amount of damage. Death is actually kind of annoying for you. He puts out stupid damage because they have a Deso and an AC. It actually lowers your EHP by half, or it lowers your armor by half, which is really bad. That's when you'd want like your Huskar. Why is he even building an MKV? They don't even have evasion. They don't have one evasion item. What an idiot. See, but like it's better to be a rich idiot who builds like a Lincoln Sphere and a Wyvern, as opposed to a poor idiot who can't build anything because he has no money. Like as dumb as a Lincoln Sphere is to build on that hero, it's better than having nothing, right? Which is what rest of your team has. Like, would you rather him have a Lincoln Sphere or nothing? And the answer is obvious. Oh, and you got 2K in the bank. Should buy your Moon Shard. But like this 6 slot came probably at least 10 minutes too late. Which sounds like a little critical, but like you could easily have another 130 creeps right now, which isn't even that much farm. That's like 12 creeps a minute, which isn't exactly difficult to get on Antimage. So like, I even fine with like putting the manta down, not selling the manta, but you put it down for like a rapier, and then you can even. Thing is, if they have all MKBs, then you could drop the B-Fly for a rapier. But I think dropping the manta might be better if you just want to focus on your split pushing, because you can use the Lincoln Sphere defensively instead of the manta, which is going to block the duel and the charge setup, which is important. But that's like really theoretical late game. Like there's so many things you could have done better to not be at this point though, right? Like we just think about it. See, just you being there just killed your teammate again. That sucks. Like it's not your fault that they're so far behind, but it's like you could have made a decision that wouldn't involve you being there, right? Backdooring, bro. Like you have travels, you can get bottom lane pushed in if you want. If you see all this going on, I would just travel to bottom lane, push this in, and then meet them back middle while getting bottom lane pushed in. Because you had plenty of time where they're dead, right? So if you acknowledge things like that, that's not the fight. He has to just die, right? Like here, if as soon as you killed him, you traveled down here, you'd be able to get this whole wave pushed and be back over here before half of their respawn's done. And that's like your travel cooldown. Like it won't take AM 45 seconds to push in a bottom wave to like here and then walk back over to here. It'll take you maybe like 20 seconds. The only problem with that is like it opens your team up to being killed by their other 3 cores. So maybe that might not be the greatest idea in this situation, just because you can be there to defend the Huskar. But that's another thing you just want to keep in mind. I don't think there's much you can do to stop the Slark from killing this Drow if he was using his brain. I don't know what the point of manting that. Yeah, but then you came back for this anyway. That was just stupid. Just commit on middle. Like, you just got your Huskar killed. And your Drow? Not your Drow. But you got your Huskar killed because you left there. You could have committed and just killed their racks right there. Like, look how much time you had without them being up. Why did we even leave there? Who cares? Your, like, support can deal with that. You got Nyx respawning, and then you left. You have 30 seconds without these two. The biggest problems for you are her ult probably, and Legion's blade mail and damage. And you left. That was a Rax right there. That was a really bad mistake on your part. That's one of those decisions you make that like could very well have just changed the whole outcome of this game. The fuck? Oh, I thought you stole that for a second. Man, my brain is just fried. Another thing like you can do, like let's say you want to buy a rapier right now and Roshan's up, you can drop your boots for like let's say an Aegis, and then drop one of your items for like a rapier. That way you have like a double rapier, or you have a double life with a rapier, so you can just jump in there and just be completely reckless. Like it's fine to drop your boots for like an Aegis if you think it's gonna change the outcome of a game. And then like what you can do is like you're really rich, you have buyback, right? So let's say you take your Aegis over your boots to travel, and you're AM, you have a blink. You don't necessarily need boots to catch people, right? But like let's pretend I don't even care what's happening here. Let's just pretend like you have the Aegis instead of the boots. You put the boots in your stash. You push this lane with your team. You blink in. You go on someone. You kill someone. The enemy team jumps on you, blows all their abilities. That keeps your team alive. They kill you. 5 seconds later, you respawn. They have to kill you again. And you can keep the courier by with like another one of your items or something, or your boots. And then, like, let's say they somehow manage to kill you the second time, then you can buy back, and you have your travels either in your stash or they delivered to you, you delivered them to yourself or whatever. And you immediately put your travels back on yourself, and then you travel back to the fight for like 3 lives. Like they're having a hard time, right? The only problem is this hero is theoretically like infinitely scaling because of fucking duels. Like you could theoretically, if you take an Aegis, get here with 3 lives, or you can give it to someone else. But like you can exert like absolute map control for your team with Antimage, and allow them to get the Aegis, because that'll get them all some reliable gold that they all desperately need. Like this dude hasn't even leveled his Dagon in like 30 minutes. Okay, never mind. It's 4. It used to be 3. I don't know when he leveled it, but they're super far behind. We're almost at the end here. I mean, we all know what's going to happen, right? You're going to die, you're going to buy back, and you're going to die again because you have 3 deaths in the game. So the only way they can really end it is if you are dead, which is only going to happen if you die back. Will it be here? It's not here. Alright, well, there's no real reason to watch any more of this. We know what happens, right? So let's do a quick little recap of all the things you messed up on. First thing, improve your lane mechanics. You can't be in a 1v0 lane, 2v0 lane, because your Nyx is stealing your experience, and not hit every single creep, or at least like 95% of your creeps. Like, even I, like, I played, let's look. We're going to tab down and we're going to check. I played an unhealthy amount of Antimage. I've got nearly 400 games of Antimage, and I still miss a ton of creeps. Whoops. Let's check. 3 months? 71%. I'm like I still miss like a fair amount of creeps, and I'm just like, God, I'm an idiot. And it's like decision, like I'll know I'm gonna miss a creep leading into me missing it, which is really annoying. But like you should get to a point where you mechanically know how to approach the lane, and you can do that just in bot games. And then you'll learn to deal with pressure just by playing those games. Oh, here comes the moment we talked about where you die back. Coward. It's gonna be funny if this game ends up mid lane, because this lane wouldn't be pushed like that if you actually raxed him here earlier. Right? Think of how things would change. So laning efficiency, work on it. I'll send you the farming tutorial video I made a while ago. It's kind of old. It's maybe what, 8 months old. So it's on the older map without these camps. But it's still viable, and it's before the mud golem or this change, because that's 3 creeps now when it spawns in the hard camp. Anyway, that's not really that relevant. So like the efficiency is really important. You need to know how to get the most out of your lane. Like having 60 creeps, I think you had like 65 creeps at 12 minutes in an absolutely free lane, not acceptable. Second thing, mid-game farming efficiency. Once you get the Battle Fury, like your farming has to explode. Remember I said you can approach 10 creeps a minute, and like you can get in that area without a Battle Fury. Like if you're focused on being super efficient, it's not hard for you to get like 10 creeps a minute without even having the Battle Fury. So like once you have the Battle Fury, you should be farming like 20 creeps a minute. I'm not even joking. Like you can farm out this whole thing, these camps, and this whole thing every minute. And you need to go into a mode where you're just destroying all the creeps on the map for like 5 minutes after your Battle Fury, and you'll be farming like over 1,000 gold a minute. It's probably around 1,200. So we're talking about item timings on Antimage. Just whatever the cost of the item is, just divide it by 1,000, and that's how many minutes it should take to farm the item, because of how fast he farms. Like any moment of focusing on creeps, or any like couple minutes focusing on creeps, you should usually be getting like 20, 25 creeps a minute, maybe even more. You could probably get like 30 creeps a minute if like you're exclusively focusing on farming, because this area alone is probably, each woods is, we'll say this is 4 average, 3 average, 7, 10, 13, 16. So the woods is probably 16. Ancient brings that to 19. And this would be another 3, so that'd be like 22 creeps. I could have sworn that was like another blue satyr. So you have 22 creeps just from this area alone each minute, plus another 10 lane creeps. So that's, what did we say, 22? So 32 creeps a minute is like available for you in this area alone, right? That's not counting mids creeps, which would be in 42, or bottom lanes creeps, which is another 52, or all this shit, which is 74. Around 74 creeps a minute on the map. You should be able to farm about 32 of them. So yeah, like that's how you should be farming after you have your Battle Fury complete. So you need to get good farming patterns. Like, remember when your whole team died over here, and you just sat behind your tier 2 tower and watched it die instead of splitting, pushing a lane? AIM's about forcing decision making. You want to force them to make a decision, of responding to your split push or taking a team fight. And if they take the team fight and they win the team fight and you can't help by showing up, then you just keep split pushing and you would have taken a tier 2. Like either one of these tier 2s would have died had you been in one of those lanes pushing in anticipation of their push, because you knew they were pushing since they were grouped right here, right? Like you can see that coming. It only takes you like 10 seconds to get to either one of these situations from mid, right? Because you got one blink, walk for 4 seconds, second blink, walk for 4 seconds, and then that brings you like to here. And the same thing for here. It'll bring you like to here. So within 15 seconds, you can be on a different side of the map split pushing. So you just need to learn to get in those patterns. I'll send you a link to my my match history. I think I have like 3 recent Antimage games you'd be able to download, and like you'll see, I have like crazy farming rates in them. We'll quickly look over that because I'm kind of curious actually. I said it, but I don't know. Ah. Like, let's look at each one of these. That's 277 creeps in 24 minutes. This team like kind of quit, but that's over. And I was like grouping with my team to like push towers and racks and stuff, but that's still like 11 or 12 creeps a minute. I don't know how to click apparently. Oh, mine was showing. Whoops. Alright, so here you got 524 in 40 minutes. That's 13 creeps a minute. That's 479 in 34 minutes. Is it almost 15? I think it's almost 15. And this is 568 in a 42-minute game. That's almost 15 as well. It's probably closer to 14. And that's like the last 3 games. So I'll just send you like the URL to my match list too, and you can try and watch the game and just look at my first person perspective and see how I play lanes and the farming pattern. But I'll also send you the video on the tutorial on how to farm. And like the tutorial I send you, it's on Antimage. I have another one on Slark, but it can apply to like any reasonably fast farming carrier. Medusa, Sven. I don't feel like going down the list, but anyone who could gyro. Damn it, I'm going down the list. Anyone who could farm reasonably fast, it applies to. Let's see. Third thing. I didn't really talk about it, but you definitely weren't split pushing enough. In the late game, you should just have their creep wave should like never get past here, pretty much, or never get past the river, definitely. And even when they're ahead, it should be really hard for them to like push out, just because you should be able to keep everything constantly pushed. Travels help a lot with that too, so getting an earlier travels will really help keep it pushed. We'll talk about itemization. I think you should pretty much 95% of games get Vlads. I don't even like the Vanguard that much. I know people like getting that now because it builds. It's like, oh, you don't waste 2,000 gold, but who cares? Like, a Vlad's gives you so much more than the 2,000 gold that you pay for it, or the 2,400 gold you pay for it. Like, it's not even worth thinking about. You can also, like, a really nice move to keep in mind is when you're in AM, particularly when you have the Vlads. Well, when you have the Vlads or whatever, push this super hard, draw TPs, TP to the other side of the map, and Roche. You can solo Roche once you have Treads, Battle Fury, Vlads, and Yasha. You can solo Roche by yourself. As long as it's like before 30 minutes. If you're stupid far behind, then you can't solo Roche because Roche gains strength. But if it's before like 20, it's every 4 minutes. So I'll say like 28 minutes. You should be able to solo Roche pretty consistently with just those items. And if you have the full Manta, I think you should be able to do it whenever. And like the rapier thing's more complicated. That's when you really reach a little level of comfort. Like you should have been able to acknowledge like when they have over double your team's kills. They have over 20. They have 27 more kills than your team. The net worth difference you have to feel is enormous, right? Like it's you and then 3 of their cores. And like the guy who lost his whole net worth is still in the game, and not the lowest net worth. Like you have to feel like you're in a bad position and then know when to just like buy a rapier and then know what to do with it. Like split push super hard with it. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there. This thing's been dragging out forever because I get sidetracked. But I hope it helps a lot. Feel free to send other games, replays, whatever. And I will check them out. And I do other heroes besides Antimage. It's just I tend to like. I know a lot about Antimage, so when I see a post about Antimage, I look at it, and there's a replay. I'm like, oh, I can check that out. And then I just make 20 fucking Antimage videos. But okay, that's it. End of the video, and I'm gonna go eat food.